People see me today working with professional athletes in all the leagues, coaching CEOs, world leaders, all of that. But I got to tell you, even them, they still lose hope at times. When I went to the chiropractor, when they manipulated my neck, they ripped the artery in my brain. So I was bleeding in the brain, but I didn't know it. I get told, Dar, you have a blood clot in your brain, and if this dislodges any day, you could die. You have to imagine I'm 25. You have to be all in on wanting to be your best. Because if you're not, you're going to fall short and mediocrity takes over.
Guys, I don't want to say this and offend anybody, but if you are not winning in life, you're just not trying.
My why comes down to a core value word that I want to be known for and I could stand on and build off of, which is greatness.
This is the Mr. Brrrr Show.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Today is going to be something special. I want you to take a second, think about your life. Think about all of your setbacks, all of your failures, all of your obstacles, all of your, speed bumps in life. We've all had them. We're all going to have more of them. These things are a part of life. But what if you had a step-by-step formula on how to bounce back from these things quickly and take your life to the next level? My guest today is actually the author of this book, The Art of Bouncing Back. And she is highly qualified because she has bounced back from several difficulties in her life, including 3 strokes. You heard that correctly, 3. The last of which, just a couple years ago, left her unable to write, read, or even speak fluently. Crazy. She's an occupational therapist. She is the mindset coach to top CEOs in Fortune 100 companies. And probably the coolest thing is she is the mindset coach for professional athletes across all sports, including my favorite player, Devin Booker. So guys, this is going to be amazing. I'm probably going to butcher the name, so I'm just going to say it. Okay, it's Darleen Santore. It's not how it's said in Italy, right?
That was perfect, though.
Okay,
That's
perfect.
the American version.
Perfect. But you go by Coach Dar, so welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on. Thanks for that intro, too.
We're gonna put this up so everyone can see it. You guys need to get this book. What we're gonna do is we're gonna dive into, you have 9 steps, right?
Yes.
So there's 9 steps to basically bounce back from any setback.
Right.
Again, 3 strokes, guys. Crazy.
Yeah.
So how to bounce back, there's 9 steps. We're not going to get into all of them because I want you guys to get this book, but we're going to get into a lot of them. Before we do that, let's get into a little bit of your story. Tell people kind of who you are and how you got here at the young age of, we just talked about it.
47.
47, but you're looking great.
Thank you. So, it's funny. Someone asked me the other day, Dar, what are you? And my best friend said, you're a hope dealer. I was like, oh, man, I'll take that. I'll own that. She's like, no, seriously, you give people hope when they feel like they have no more and when they feel like they're up against the wall. And I would say, yes, people see me today working with professional athletes in all the leagues, coaching CEOs, world leaders, all of that. But I got to tell you, even them, they still lose hope at times. They still need a place to go to kind of work through the mental game, because all of us get that moment where we're stop and we say, can we do this? You lose confidence. You kind of lose hope. You doubt yourself. Even the best of the best at moments doubt themselves, and then they pull themselves out. And this is the thing. I help people get out of the valleys faster. So the bounce back is quicker. And that's what you see from a lot of the guys and the people that I work with. They bounce back faster because they have the tools to do it now.
Yes.
Now, all of that you see today was when I started out, I was not bouncing back as fast. I definitely think, as you've met me, I have some energy, so I bounce back faster. But I started out, big Italian family in Connecticut. I joke around all the time. We're like the Sopranos. And so we have such great family, and that sense of community really did help all of us when we went through adversity. So I saw our family bounce back faster than normal, never realizing this would be key to my success. And then I go to school for occupational therapy. I'd seen my grandfather have a stroke when I was 16, and I went to the hospital, and I saw this therapist working with him on his cognition, his mental exercises, his physical exercises. And I thought, I want to know more about that. And I was hooked. So I went to school for that, came out and specialized in neuroscience and neuropsychology. The reason this is important is because today, helping people with their mind, this is where the qualification comes from. We have everyone out there right now that calls themselves a mental skills coach, and they haven't studied anything or done the work. This is where the work comes in. And I started in the hospital helping traumatic brain injury patients bounce back. So it would be the worst of the worst cases that I'd have to help them. It would be like, imagine you know someone so close in your life and they get in a car accident and you're in the hospital and you're going, where's my person? You know, that's not, like, where'd they go? They can't remember, they can't walk, they can't do anything. And it was my job.
Just like a shell of themselves.
Oh, yeah. They're there. They might just be coming out of coma. They might be out of coma, but they're agitated. They don't know who they are. They lost their memory. I mean, that's true traumatic brain injury. And so those were my patients. So I'm helping these patients. I get out of school early. I'm 20 when I get out of school. So then I married my college sweetheart. We buy the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. We're going to start this family. I'm Italian. It's like, let's go, get it out of the, gateway, start having kids so that my parents could be grandparents. And we buy the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. I hurt my back shortly after that, and I go to see a chiropractor. When I go to the chiropractor, I'm going to help sciatic pain. And I leave. There's no sciatic pain. But days later, all of a sudden I'm at work and the floor flips upside down. The floor's the ceiling and the ceiling's the floor. And I can't see. And I'm going, what is going on? And by the time I feel my way to the bottom of the stairs, it clears up. So I self-diagnose myself. I'm like, I must have a sinus infection. Like, what? Your vision just doesn't flip because of a sinus infection.
Right.
And I'm working on a stroke and brain injury. I promise I am smart, but not to maybe my own symptoms. But what happens is I go home and I'm thinking, I must have a sinus infection. I take Sudafed. I think this is going to clear up, and it gets worse. Because what actually happened was when I went to the chiropractor, when they manipulated my neck, they ripped the artery in my brain. So I was bleeding in the brain, but I didn't know it. And the only reason I finally found this out was because the blood ended up occluding blood supply to the left side of my brain. So we get fed blood supply to the front by our carotids, and we get fed blood supply by our vertebral arteries to the back of our brain. Well, this whole side got occluded, so I was no longer getting blood supply.
What does occluded mean?
It stops blood flow. So a blood clot comes in, and it's like almost like there's a clog in the pipe, and you need Drano, but Drano doesn't work.
Got it.
There's literally a clog there, so nothing's going through to this side of my brain, which you need blood flow to your brain to function.
Yeah, got it.
So by the time they found this out, because they had misdiagnosed me originally with a tumor, by the time they found this out, it was too late. So this is what happens. I get told, Dar, you have a blood clot in your brain, and if this dislodges any day, you could die. You have to imagine I'm 25. I'm taking care of the patients that I'm supposed to help. I'm like, no, this doesn't happen to me.
Right.
I'm starting what's, supposed to be the American dream. Get married, have kids, build your career, build your wealth, all the things that you think the American dream is.
Right.
And that's where I learned my first key lesson. Life doesn't go as planned. You can have a plan, but it may not go that way. And emotional and mental agility is going to be your greatest gift. So when it doesn't go as planned, you know how to move and pivot, just like the best players on the football field. All of a sudden, an interception happens. Everyone's got to change on a dime that play and what they're doing. Interception happens in our life. We have to know how to change on a dime. The best leaders are the ones that could truly change on a dime and pivot. If we could pivot well, we could lead well, we can make it through things well. So I had to learn that early on. And, well, when I was told I could die any day, I said, well, sugar, I want to go change the world. I want to fix healthcare. Which that's ridiculous. You can't. I didn't fix healthcare, but at 28, I became president of a healthcare company, and
You
I
were
ran.
working towards it.
Yes, I was working towards it. I had a goal. I truly wanted to make a difference in the way people were getting healthcare.
Yeah.
So I ran multiple businesses early in my career, which was the greatest thing, learning leadership. And then in 2008 is when I started my own practice, right in the middle of a recession, because I saw people losing their job. I saw people losing hope. And mental health was on the increase. Depression was on the increase because they lost a lot of money at that time. Their homes, they lost homes. And I said, wait a minute. I've helped people with half their brain removed, injuries that were major, overcome the most extreme odds. I could help anyone in that situation. So I left a very lucrative career and health insurance, which I needed,
Right.
to start my own practice in a recession, and I felt called to it. This was really a calling at that time.
And the practice was for.
It was to start helping people on mindset. So it was my own private practice, speaking and what people know as coaching now, but it was truly like an extension of occupational therapy. Occupational therapy is helping people in the occupation and the role that they're in live their best life.
Got it.
So whether it's your role in business or it's the athlete's role on the court, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to help them optimize their mind and their life in that area so they could be the best. And so I just took it out of the traditional role and brought it into the real world, which people were not doing that then. So talking about mindset in 2008 is like Elon Musk saying we're going to have a self-driving car.
Right.
People are like, you're crazy. This
Now
isn't like the
everyone
Jetson.
talks about mindset.
Oh, it's on every golf station. It's on, sports all the time. It's everywhere you see mental health, mental fitness, mindset. Now everyone wants to be a part of it, and which is great.
Yeah.
It's just I was like pushing a boulder uphill then.
So, guys, a couple things I want to touch on. The book, what really captivated me about your book is right from the beginning, it goes into a story. And we talked about this offline, is like the best books, in my opinion, are a story that teach a lesson, right? I can think of some great ones off the top of my head. The Go-Giver, it's a story, teaches a lesson. Mr. Schmooze, it's a story, teaches a lesson. Have you read both those?
Yes.
I love Mr.
I love
Schmooze.
them.
Such a good book. Just if it's in story form, it's easier as humans just to capture the message, I think, right?
Absolutely.
Because we can draw parallels to the stories with our own lives. So her book, guys, is right from the beginning, it goes into the story. So I remember reading about those different things you were saying just now where, the things happen with you going down the stairs and like you didn't know you were down there and like you're upside down and downside up and like
Can't see.
I just was like so hooked on the book. I'm like, I couldn't stop reading it. It was crazy. I'm reading it on the Stairmaster, right? So I do the stairs like 6 to 7 days a week.
Nice.
That's like my zone where I multitask. I get 3 emails, text messages, I read. I could not put your book down. So I'm like an hour on the stairs, like sweat's getting on it. Like just awesome book.
That's awesome.
So, and then you're so right, because right now, mindset training and mindset coaching is so in vogue.
Yep.
Everyone just wants to be an expert on it. But what you guys really have to do, this is so important, is really, really assess who you're getting that from.
Yes.
Because everyone's doing it, right? With their phones. And is the person you're getting advice from, are they really qualified to give you advice?
Amen.
Right?
Yes.
Like, perfect example. I'll go to the gym and I'll see a trainer who's out of shape.
Blows my mind. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I want to get in shape. Why would I have you be my trainer if you're out of shape?
Because he doesn't have, or she doesn't have discipline to
To
stay
get in shape.
consistent either.
And even if they know what to do, they don't have the discipline to do it.
That's right.
So, like, 100%,
Thank
like,
you.
you are actually someone that people should listen to. Again, guys, top CEOs of Fortune 100 companies. Devin Booker. Love Devin Booker. We got to talk more about that. He's literally my favorite player ever. I love him. I saw him at the NCAA championship game. His best friend, Tyler Ulis. So I saw Tyler Ulis because, like, I'm like, oh, it's Tyler Ulis. We're like the same height. I saw him across the way. I'm like, babe, I was with my wife. It's Tyler Ulis. She's like, oh, cool. And then I see a taller guy walk up. I'm like, that's Devin Booker. She's like, go talk to him. I'm like, no. I'd be so starstruck.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Is he?
He's everything that you see and more. Yes.
That's awesome.
I'm honored to have had the chance to work with him and the team when I did travel with them. And I've said it many a times, I can't say enough good things about him. He is the example of a great role model for kids all across the world, truly.
Really?
He's disciplined. He has an excellent mindset. He plays the game damn well.
Oh, gosh.
He's exceptional. He doesn't get flustered. Like I said, everything that he helps out in the community. He loves his family. It's an incredible human. Yes,
Yeah.
a great player, but truly, I always say, does that person's backstage meet their front stage? We need more people that their backstage meets their front stage, and he does. He meets that. And that's the litmus test. So even going to everyone who wants to be a mindset coach, put them to the test. What is their background? How many people have they helped? I've helped over 100,000 people. You can't work in the pros. And you can't just have taught 3 meditation classes and then you're like, oh, I'm a mindset guru. That doesn't qualify.
Right.
Yes, you're a meditation coach, maybe, but you're not a mindset guru. You have to understand the anatomy, the discipline, mental health, disorders, all of it, what goes into the game. So all of that is in this world, anything, does their backstage meet their front stage? And we need way more people that have that. Devin's one of them.
I love that.
You're one of them. Austin, everyone. I mean, like, these are real deal people. And if we could just have more people being authentically them, gosh, it would be, the world would be better if people would just show up, but insecurity gets in the way. So,
yes. My goodness.
Yeah.
Guys, rewind that and re-listen to that because that is profound. Authenticity is I think, the cheat code in life.
It is.
If you can just be authentically you, God put you on this earth to do something great with your life.
Yes.
Every last one of you. It doesn't matter who you are, what struggles you're going through. And we're going to get into, again, how to overcome struggles, setbacks, everything. But it doesn't matter where you're at in your life. You were born to do something great.
Yeah.
You just have to figure out what it is. And the only way to do that is to be authentically you.
Yes. You know, this is a good example. There's an example in the book where I ask anyone I'm working with, and anyone could do this, go ask 3 to 5 people in your life. If you were to tell my coach, say they have to write to me. If you were to tell coach who I am, just ask, put it out there. Don't say anything else. What would you say? Watch what comes back, because what comes back, you will start to see parallels. Circle all those parallel words that describe you. Put that on an index card. That becomes your confidence card. And 2 things. It's either going to make you really happy, or you're going to wish maybe there was more that they saw in you that maybe you're not bringing to the table. Now, this is where greatness starts to get better, because then you start working on that craft. You're the author of your story.
Yes.
So you start to say, okay, I want to show up better as this. Start portraying that. Share that. And then own that craft. People will say, you could be anything you want. That's a lie. No, you cannot. I can't go become a WNBA player. I'm 5'2".
To an extent, you can.
To an extent, but
Right.
hear this out. You can't be anything in all things. There's no way I'm going in the WNBA.
No way I'm being in the NBA.
That's right. So if someone said you could be that would lead us down a road. Sure, maybe we'll build some skills, but it's not in our wheelhouse, right? So go to the zones that you're in, that's in your wheelhouse, craft those to be strong, then become any of those situations that you want to be. Work that really well and be authentically you. You'll never, ever lose your confidence in walking into a room when you're authentically you and the giftedness that God asked you to be.
Let's stay on that because that is in the book where you give that that practice of writing it down,
Yes.
asking people. I think you said it in email, right?
Yes, send an email.
That's what it was. And if I remember correctly from the book, it was you see yourself differently than other people do, right? People are going to see a different version of you than you see of yourself. So that version that they see might actually be the real version. You're just telling yourself this lie,
Yes.
right? So you're getting all this feedback. And feedback might be great. So then you're like, boom, this is my confidence card. When your confidence is down, you look at what everyone said. You're enthusiastic. You're full of energy. You're a go-getter. You're this, you're that, right? Boom, confidence is right back. All those things might not be there. They might be you're a little distant. You're too much in your phone. Then what do you have? You have things that you can work on,
Absolutely.
right?
Seek and apply feedback. That right there is seek and apply feedback from trusted sources. You're not getting it like we were talking. You're not going to get it from like Twitter haters.
Right.
You're going to get it from trusted sources that, hey, these people love you and they're putting a mirror up. And you have to have that emotional intelligence and that grit inside of you to say, I may not like this, but this is someone who loves me. And if I work on this, I could then create the version that I want to be, the better version.
Yes.
And this is where I make the point. If the pros are watching game film in real time when they come back on the bench to be better in the moment, why wouldn't we want instant feedback so we can be better in the moment, in the relationship, in our workout, in our business, right there? I have a story. When I started out, I was 28 years old. I became president of a multi-million-dollar healthcare company. I didn't know everything at all. I knew enough to get in, but I didn't know enough to be great yet. I was starting. It's called the expression, go ugly early. Start and then get better.
Right.
So I get in. I'm just in my first few weeks. And the owner of the company comes in and says, hey, are you ready for your presentation tomorrow? I said, yeah. He says, great. It's to this company we were going to pitch to. He goes, great. I have people in the boardroom waiting to hear your pitch. I was like, oh, you mean like right now? I walk in, the boardroom is a major boardroom of a healthcare company, and there's 16 people sitting around the table, all older than me, all major presidents and vice presidents of the company. And they're sitting there like, go ahead, pitch us. That putting me under pressure and giving me feedback in real time that night prepared me so I was on the money the next day. Had that not happened, I might have done okay and then had to get the feedback, but might have lost the bid, might not have. I don't know.
Instead, you crushed it.
Yes, because I took it in real time. Now, was I nervous inside? Hell yes. But you seize the opportunity because he was calling me up. He was calling me up in that moment to be great, to be better, to work on it. But I had to humble myself and just be like, all right, let's go. Pull the Band-Aid.
Guys, this is so freaking good. This is so freaking good. Because I don't think enough people appreciate the fact that it doesn't matter who you are. Mm-hmm. Billionaires, they have bad days.
Yes.
There's people that have bad days, weeks, months, years, decades. The best performers, like you said, they shrink that time frame. They bounce back quicker.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And you've already given so much that's in the book, so we don't want to give everything, but like you've given so much in there already. But one thing that I talked about on a couple episodes ago was Zach Keep. So if you guys haven't heard that, listen to it. I wish that I could have like a little fly following me around all day. I didn't know that it was like recording me. Mm-hmm. And that way I could like actually assess, what am I doing at all times?
Yeah.
Am I really maximizing every second? Mm-hmm. Am I fully in with my wife when I'm with her? Am I fully there with my daughter when I'm with her? I'd like to think I'm usually very intentional.
Right.
But if something's watching me all the time, am I? And that's assessing that game film.
It really is.
I wish that I could have that.
I believe with AI, we're going to have something at some point that literally is going to be in the house that could be like, hey, your productivity slipped today. Hey, we noticed you weren't present. I'm sure it's coming, or someone's going to hear this and create it.
AI gets like scary, but also really cool at the same time.
For sure.
The possibilities. Mm-hmm. I think, I've said this before, I think with the level of income I've gotten to, which I don't think my income is going to go down. I think I'm just going to keep making more throughout my life. And I work out. I take great care of myself. I eat very well. I cold plunge. I sleep at least, I'd say, 7 hours a night. I live a very healthy lifestyle. Mm-hmm. But then with technology, with AI, with what I'd be able to afford with these different technologies, I don't think it's out of the question I'm going to live to be 150.
Oh, believe me,
and looking good too.
Yeah.
At 150, like out playing tennis,
it's
golfing.
Going to be amazing. I'm working on something I can't share, but it's a certification that's it's using AI that it could scan your body and be able to instantly tell you some things that you need to know.
When will you have access to it?
Next year.
Oh, we got to talk then.
All the training's happening now, but next year for sure. This is going to be the next stage to help people.
Oh, let's stay in touch
about that. Based out of Australia. Yes.
Oh my gosh,
I have
be
the platform now to do it with you, but we have to wait till the new year. There's a whole unveiling.
Patent pending and all that stuff.
They already got it all locked in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's amazing. But to your point, it's coming. And that's, I want to say this. Here's the thing. One of my favorite quotes by David Cook is, greatness is open to all but earned by few. Greatness is open to all but earned by few. You could have all of this technology, know exactly what to do to be healthy, but still not do it.
Yes.
So it still takes the inner champion to want to have longevity, optimization, live a long life, have a great relationship. You want to have all this. It's intrinsically motivates you. You don't need external motivation. It's already driven in you, which is amazing. But everyone has this chance, and this is what separates good from great. I help the greats be great, and there is this same characteristic you have. You're trying to optimize on every level. I love optimizing. I mean, it's almost to probably a obsession, But I would say if you looked at anyone, do you think Kobe Bryant was not obsessed with his game? He was obsessed with his game.
Over the smallest details.
He knew that the rim was off one time by literally something was wrong with the rim, and he had them check, and sure enough, it was. He goes, something's wrong. It was the dimension of the rim. It got bent. And so he knew that because he's constantly practicing on that same court.
Yeah.
So there's an obsession, but I would say you have to be all in on wanting to be your best. Because if you're not, you're going to fall short and mediocrity takes over.
Guys, I don't want to say this and offend anybody, but if you are not winning in life, you're just not trying.
That's right.
You're really not. Because there is everything you need to learn and everything that you need to know is seconds away on this right here for free.
Literally.
You can search anything. How to, yada, yada, yada. What is the best, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. And then you just have to do it.
Do it.
So, prime example, I used to be in bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. I was jacked, like down to like 4% body fat.
Wow.
I think I got down to like 3 at one point. But I would walk around at like 6, 7%, just really dialed in at all times. People would always ask me, can you help me get in shape? Absolutely. So I'd like literally plan out their entire diet with their macros, what they should be eating, what they shouldn't be eating, when they should work out, how much water, what time they should eat, what time they should go to sleep. Everything. Roadmap. Follow up with them. How's everything going? Oh, I haven't really started. I'm like, so why did I help you?
You literally have the roadmap.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then I started realizing people don't value what's free. I was giving them all this information for free.
Yes.
Didn't value it.
Yep.
I started charging people. They started actually using it. So
that's key. And that's another thing. Like, just there's the example of, people have probably heard it, and I don't know if it was Leonardo da Vinci or it was Picasso, famous painter though. This woman stops him and says, "Would you paint a portrait for me?" And so in 3 minutes he paints it, and he says, "That'll be 15,000 francs." And she says, "It took you 3 minutes." He says, "No, ma'am, it took me a lifetime to do that."
all the work he put in.
All the work he put in got him to be able to do it in 3 minutes, which was a work of art. And so when we talk about our worth and people taking it serious, when you explain, hey, it's going to be this, it took you years.
Yeah.
When people, my coaching is not cheap. And so sometimes we'll be like, oh, I can't pay that. And someone wanted me to coach their younger child, and they're like, well, he's only a child. I said, do you go to the pediatrician, the surgeon, and say, could you lower the price because he's a child? No. Right. He's still the pediatric surgeon that you need. It's just, that's his niche.
Yeah.
Mine's my niche, whether you're 11 or you're 40 or you're 50 or 20, it doesn't matter. But it's 27 years of work. So for anyone watching, know your worth. And for sure, you have to have built your craft. Like, don't put up when I started speaking for free. Now I speak to thousands of people, but I spoke for free. I coached people. I started really working on my niche to get to where I am now.
To get the credibility.
Absolutely.
It's like we talked about before. Like,
yeah.
You have to be worthy
of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and you've done that.
Same with the bodybuilding. You put in your time, your effort. So now you're planning this out. You're like, I could get you dialed in because you're dialed in.
Yeah.
But they don't want to follow it.
They don't see... That's everyone with pretty much anything that's worthwhile having in life, in my opinion. Like, if you see someone who has a great body, that did not happen overnight.
Right.
It didn't happen over a couple weeks, a couple months. It takes, like, I'm in pretty good shape right now. I could get really dialed in probably 2 months because the baseline is there.
Right.
But if I'm out of shape, it's going to take a long time to get in really, really good shape. Right. If you're just starting out in business, you're not going to be a multi-millionaire, billionaire overnight. And if you are, it's going to be luck, and you're probably going to lose the money because you don't know how to keep it.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
So, I freaking love this conversation so much. We got to get into the book a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, guys, I hope you're getting so much value. This is a wealth of knowledge. Unbelievable. So make sure you follow her on all... I know we talked, you don't have a huge social media following, which is...
I'm in the lab so much.
Yeah.
I'm on a football field,
but you do
basketball court.
But you do have social media.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
yes.
What are your handles?
It's the Coach Dar. So the Coach Dar, Instagram, Twitter, Instagram's probably the thing that I put the most stories on with mental tips, mental fuels. So follow there. CoachDar.com is my website, which you can get all my information there. So follow along there.
Cool. And I'll show you some tips on how to blow that thing up, because I've learned a couple things on how to grow the social media.
Excellent.
But let's jump into the book a bit. I loved the book. Like I said, guys, it right from the beginning, it tells her story, and it just hooks you. So get the book. It's incredible. We're going to touch on some of the key points. First thing, and this again, step by step, guys, of how to get through a setback or get over a setback and how to bounce back. Embrace the suck. What does that mean, and how do you do it?
So when I was starting this book, this was after my third stroke. I just come off of as the Phoenix Suns mental skills coach, and I couldn't read or write, and everything you said at the beginning, and I had to do all my own rehab to come back. So I didn't go back the next season and travel with them, and I was working on how am I going to just get back to functioning normal? Am I even going to be able to coach and do the things that I needed to? So that's when I really had to dig deep. And when it came time to eventually write this book, we got to the point where we called it The Art of Bouncing Back, because I've had to help myself and so many bounce back. And I thought, in that moment when that happened to me and anyone, the last thing I wanted to hear was positive Pollyanna walking in. I literally felt like I just lost my career by having this stroke. How am I going to get back? If someone came in and said, oh, tomorrow's a better day. No, it's not. It will be. I needed someone to say, Dar, I see you. I feel you. This sucks right now. I got you. I got it. And I got you. And even to myself, I needed to say, after I felt it, I needed to say, Dar, you've got to embrace this for what it is.
Yeah.
I couldn't deny it. I couldn't stuff it under the rug. I couldn't positive my thinking out of it. I needed to literally sit and say, you've got to embrace this. Because like a sergeant in battle, you have to embrace the battle that's in front of you to get through it. If you don't have emotional neutrality, you're going to be too volatile through it. If you don't deal with it, you're not going to plan well.
Right.
So I needed to embrace it for all it is, which it sucks. You're in battle. You lost your job. You just got a health scare. You might have got divorced. Something happened to your child. All those instances, they are hard.
Yep.
They're really hard, and it sucks. And I feel so bad when people are going through it. But once we get there, I sit there with all my players and I say, I know this sucks. I got you. We're going to embrace this. We're going to hold this, and then we're going to do something about it. But you almost can't say we're going to do something about it that moment. You have to sit there and embrace it for a minute, and then we've got to take action.
Yes.
You can't sit in the pain forever. You've got to embrace it and move forward.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
So embrace it.
So, guys, that's step one of bouncing back from anything. Embrace the suck. It sucks.
It does.
Like,
admit it.
Tony Robbins says this. He's like, he's not a positive thinker, like saying that there's no weeds. There's no weeds. No, there's weeds. Pull the weeds out.
That's right.
Right? Like,
right.
You can't positive way think your way out of that. There's not any weeds right there.
They're there.
There's weeds in your life. They're there. They suck.
Yes.
Pull them out.
Yes.
Right? So that's step one, is embrace the suck.
It's like, be a realist optimist. Realistic optimist. So you're realistic in the situations that's there. You embrace it, but obviously have hope for what's ahead and what you can do.
Yes. What you talk about in the book, and it shows here, guys, on the book, if you can see, the O comes down. It's a bouncing ball. It bounces, and then it bounces, and it bounces, right? So a bouncing ball, you talk about this in there. The harder you throw it, the higher it bounces, right?
That's right.
The harder the lesson, the harder the setback, the harder the struggle, the more you can ascend.
Totally.
So, guys, this is how I look at setbacks in life, and I've had a lot of them. You guys know my story. I've told it many times. But when I get to a setback or a roadblock, I look at it as like I've hit kind of the rock bottom of that part in my life, whatever it is, a relationship, a business deal, something. I've hit the bottom. When you're at the bottom, what do you have now? You have a place to launch from, right? You have the bouncing ball that can go higher.
Yes.
So the bigger that failure, most likely the more you're going to bounce back. If you embrace that it sucks, realize that life goes on, that pain is temporary, guys.
Yes.
You know the tattoo.
Yes.
I love it. So that's step one.
Yes.
Love it, love it, love it. We're going to go step 2, which is understanding who you are. Why is that so important to overcoming struggles?
So when I'm working with anyone, once we've embraced what we're dealing with, and by the way, say we're even embracing just the challenge that's ahead of us. It doesn't even have to be so severe, but you have to embrace where you are to know how to plan ahead. You go to the next step, which is I'm building a mental foundation for you. We're building a strong foundation because if I could help you understand who you are, which goes back to ask people, who are you? Get to the core of who you are. What are your gifts? What are your talents? What's your personality? What's the DNA of you? What makes you you? Who are you? When you understand to your core who you are, you could start building on that. But if you have no identity, if you have no awareness, if you're not even sure what the gifts and talents are, how do you make your strengths stronger? So I start to help you find out, hey, these are your strengths. Yeah, we're clear. These are a little bit of your weaknesses. But I'm not going to take a quarterback and make him a defensive lineman. I'm going to keep him in the pocket as a quarterback because he's so damn good at that. Yeah. I want to find out for each person, what's your genius zone? Where are you really good? What comes natural to you? Then we take that and we're going to just make that so strong. So again, mental and physical foundation gets so strong. So now when we build the house, now when we go forward on this journey, we get hit. This is solid now.
Solid foundation.
So much like your bodybuilding. When you got stronger, you were able to take on more weight. Well, I'm getting you mentally to have a better foundation, to have more mental strength. So when you take on more weight, more hits, you're like, I got this. This feels easy now. This kind of hit that normally I couldn't lift, or in life, this situation, it would break me. It doesn't break me anymore because you're understanding the core who you are. It helps you I call it God confidence, but it gives you confidence. You have this ability to go back into it. So here's an example. You lose your job. You start to go, I don't know, should I be running business? Hey, learn from that, but it's not that you're bad at business. It was just a situation. So there's the expression, don't put a period where God intended a comma. Don't call yourself out when you were supposed to continue.
Call yourself up.
Yes, and you're supposed to stay in this lane. So when I had my stroke and I realized, I did say, I'm like, gosh, should I continue doing this? My sister helped me in this, understanding who I am. She said, Dar, God called you to do this. You've got to get back up. He did not give you this gift and this talent to just go sit on the beach in a shack and call it for the day or the rest of your life. By the way, I would have been sat at that shack, she said, and in 3 weeks I would have said, I think we should do this. We should probably build this. She's like, you wouldn't have sat there. So my point was I understood who I was. I understood my gift and my calling. And I realized once I remember that, my gift didn't get taken away. My health might have went down, but my gift and my talent wasn't taken away. You lose your job. You lost your job, not the knowledge. You learned all that you learned, so you can go right back to that and start again. Just get back up and start again, but you have to know what your gifts and talents are to know how to start again.
I love what she just did right there. If you guys didn't catch it, please rewind it because I caught it the entire time you were doing that. You might not even know you were doing this.
What'd I do?
You literally went back to the first step. Embrace the suck.
Yes.
You lost a job. It sucks.
Yes.
You embrace it. It sucks. It is what it is. But are you going to change careers all of a sudden? No. You're really good at this. This is what you do.
Right.
This is understanding yourself. To understand yourself, guys, you have to spend time with yourself. We're so busy in our phones. We're so busy doing things. How often do we just sit with ourselves?
Learn about yourself. You want to buy a car. You'll learn everything about that next car.
Yes.
How it operates, who made it, what's the quality. You learn everything about it before you decide. Do you have that much knowledge about yourself? We should be investing in ourselves. You want to be great? Think about it. Pro players work on their craft every day, themselves, physically, mentally, emotionally, every day so they can be great. You're the pro in your life. Why wouldn't you be working on you in all of those areas?
I've been doing this a lot lately. I've been obsessed with observation. If you really think about it, the more you observe things, the more you understand them. Right?
Very much so.
So even down to the point where I observe my face more when I'm brushing my teeth. See, I'm getting a little wrinkle there. I didn't have that wrinkle before. Ooh, I got a gray hair in my beard. Just observing me, right? Observing how I'm feeling, observing what my breath is like. How fast is my heartbeat? Observing how my body feels. The more you observe things, the more you understand them.
It's so good.
I've been really obsessing over that lately, is just observation. And you can tell a lot from someone by observing them,
Absolutely.
right?
They say more in their body language sometimes than their words.
Yeah,
So
100%.
my work is pretty much the study of patterns, which is what you're saying. You're observing, which is also studying patterns. So if you want to get better, start observing your patterns. You know, how'd you show up this week? What was your energy level with? Like, what were the words you were using? What were the interactions? When I talked about seek and apply feedback, the observation you can make is go to someone this week and say, what was it like working with me today? What was it like? Ask your wife, what's it like being married to me? How have I been this week? You're asking a trusted source again, but you're asking for them to help observe you. They're going to start observing and they're watching your patterns, but also you could take your own inventory. I put it in there in the book. Start taking your own inventory. How are you showing up? I have players observe all the time. How was your play? What was the wins? What were the challenges? What was your energy, mindset, communication, resiliency? Score yourself from 1 to 10. Start observing weekly in your journal and see if the patterns, if your numbers start dropping, that's an area you need to start diving into and start shifting.
We're on like the same freaking wavelength right now. I swear you're thinking my thoughts.
This is awesome.
Holy moly. Like literally the next thing here is seeking and applying feedback. That's the next step.
Yes.
And you're literally hitting it right now.
Perfect.
Like we are here.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, seeking and applying feedback. Like
That's what that's all about. I mean,
trusted sources though.
trusted sources.
That's huge.
Trust. And here's the thing. People in work, if you're running a business or if you're in anything, you do a performance review once a year and hope you're going to make a course correction.
Right.
That is way too far away to have made a course correction of what you've done over the year. And yes, people have quarterly check-ins, but your performance review is once a year, which then you get a raise based off that. Seek and apply the feedback right now. You know how good you'd look if you went to your boss and said, I'd love weekly feedback. I'd love daily feedback. It's probably going to be unrealistic daily. You could do it, but if you ask for weekly feedback, hey, just give me a summary 1 to 10. How do you think I did this week? Starting off, they will admire your ability to do that and your desire to want to get better.
Yeah.
But even in relationships or for yourself, journal. Take this inventory to seek this more often than not. Because if you can make changes in your relationship in real time, that's going to avoid a problem a year from now that you could have fixed rather than, oh, well, that frustrated me. And then 6 months later, someone brings up.
Sweep it under the rug.
Yeah. And then 6 months later, you're like, you know that thing you did 6 months ago? I would be like, I don't even know what I did last week. What are you talking about?
Bro, it's 6 minutes ago. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So do it in real time. It's going to make your game so much stronger.
Your game.
Yes.
Because, guys, it is a game. Life is a game.
Oh, yeah.
And the cool thing is, you can get pretty damn good at the game.
You start off as a spectator.
Yes.
You know, baby, you come in, you're a spectator. Then you get to the bench and you're like, I want in. I want a starting position. And then you get into you're in a starting position. You're in your starting role right now. But we could slip out a starting role and be back on the bench if we don't keep up with the work.
Right.
This game, you need to be all in working on your craft so you could stay the starter.
I love how you draw in sports analogies because I love sports, love them.
Yeah.
Basketball has just always been my favorite, but it's so true. Like right now, could be a starter, but am I an all-star?
Yes.
If I'm an all-star, am I an all-pro?
Right.
If I'm an all-pro, am I the greatest of all time?
Are you a Hall of Famer?
Am I a Hall of Famer? Am I a first ballot
Yes.
Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Um,
And you could do your own journal. What does it take? So this is a mental exercise of what does it look like for that version of being a Hall of Famer in your life 10 years from now, for you to be inducted into the Hall of Fame? What does that look like? And then executing every day.
work backwards from that.
That's right. To be that. You're gonna have to be in shape because physically when you keep yourself in shape, mentally it'll help you. Mentally you need to stay strong. You need to be working on your craft, all of the things that you do to be a Hall of Famer.
I love
and
it.
a role model. This just came
Yes.
to me. I don't want you to just become a Hall of Fame because the stats, even financially, got you there. I want you to be the Hall of Famer that's worthy of being a role model in this world. Kobe Bryant said, greatness is not in what you accomplish, it's how you live that it inspired someone else to want to live that way. That's greatness.
He was gone too soon. Goodness gracious.
He was gone too soon.
I remember, I'll never forget when that happened. It was right at COVID, right? Like right before COVID, I think. It was like, right? It was February of 2020. Gosh, I remember, and I was sitting on the couch, and it's all over the news, ESPN, all that stuff, and his daughter dying too. Like, I literally started crying because I thought about like my daughter like passing away, and like she came out from her room, and I'm like waterfalls, and she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing.
I love you.
Yeah,
That's what you want. You just want to tell her you love her.
Come sit with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on a less somber note, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace.
But he was a role model.
He was. And seeking feedback, I want to get more into that because it's so important that we get feedback from, again, trusted sources. But you have to understand, again, where that, it could be a trusted source, but is it the right trusted source?
Yes.
Perfect example. I love my dad to death. He's my dad, right? We're so much alike, and I didn't realize this until the older I've gotten. Him and I are so much alike, and we talked about this offline. We look nothing alike. He's blonde hair, blue eyes, taller, heavier set. I'm short, not heavier set. Don't have blonde hair, don't have blue eyes. I'm not white skin. Like, we look polar opposite, but we're very similar personality, okay? Love him to death. Mm-hmm. He's a trusted source on some things. When I got into real estate investing, he's like, you know what? That's pretty risky. Like, do you want to be changing toilets and like doing this and doing that? He's never owned a real estate investment. Why would I take his advice on how to be a real estate investor? He's a trusted source, but not when it came to that.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
So when you seek feedback, you have to seek it from the right sources. I need to go seek it from a real estate investor
who's done really well in it.
Yeah. Not a beginner.
Yeah.
If I want to get in really good shape, go to the trainer who's jacked.
Yes.
Not the one that's out of shape.
Yes.
Right? If I want to have an amazing marriage, find friends that just have an amazing, incredible marriage.
Right.
Seek the feedback from those people. Trusted sources, but the right sources.
That's right.
Right?
And I want to just say, even about your dad, in that moment, he's impressing upon you his fears too.
Yes.
So his fears of like, do you want to do that? Because those are his fears. Like he's saying,
like he wouldn't want to do that.
I wouldn't want to do that. He's like, do you want to do that? So his fears and concerns are becoming yours potentially. So that's important when you're asking people, especially if they've never been in the arena of that. Are they the right person to go to? And again, you could love him, but in that area, he's not the expert that you're going to go to.
Yeah.
I mean, I experience it all the time with certain people in my world. I went to a group setting and people were masterminding and I was helping them and offering some ideas. And then they turn and are like, oh, do you want us to help mastermind yours? Well, they've never been in the arena of where I play. So they couldn't see beyond where they were.
Right.
So you have to be very careful. If you want to grow, you have to be around people that have gone, they're either at your level, they should be further than where you are. I mean, I go to everyone that is around me, they're way farther than I am, so that they keep raising my bar.
Because they've already been where you're at.
Absolutely.
They can get you to where you want to be.
But to go further, they need to be better.
Oh, it's so freaking good. It's so good.
Seek this feedback consistently, and don't worry. So often in this area of feedback, we're seeking family feedback from people that, again, aren't in the arena, and that just because they're family, you feel bad, and you have to be really good at setting boundaries and using your words to say, I love you, but this is not an area that I feel confident in taking this advice on.
Yeah.
I love you, but let's just think about this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said it to my sister. She doesn't work in mental skills coaching or in sports, or doesn't even like to sweat. And so we're not talking about optimization or how to bounce back in certain areas of sports because it doesn't make sense to her.
Yeah.
So it's for me not to feel hurt, I don't go to her on those things because she will maybe say something that isn't going to help me. So often this happens with families or friends. We seek their approval even when that's not the place that we should be seeking it.
Yes. So good. So freaking good.
Yeah.
You've got so much knowledge, and just your energy is always like
Thank you.
super high. What did Mo say? You are sunshine in a body. It's so
I had
true.
a friend just recently. He's like, I'm going to nickname you Sunny D. It's like, okay, I'll take that.
I used to love Sunny D as a kid.
Me too.
I used to tear that stuff
That was
up.
good till I found out how much sugar was in it.
Yes. And then what was the other one? Tampico.
Oh, that's so good.
Tampico was bomb.
I even
It might have been better than Sunny D.
this is another one. I liked McDonald's orange drink.
Of course.
I used to love that. Or an orange Julius. Any of those things.
Of course.
But.
So I want to stay on that for one more thing, the seeking
And
seeking
applying
feedback.
Yep.
I think you said this in the book. When you're getting feedback, when you're hearing things, it doesn't necessarily mean they're true, right? So like if someone's saying, again, this wouldn't be from a trusted source. If someone's saying, you're really ugly, you're really ugly, you're really ugly, you're really ugly. If you hear it enough, you start thinking, I'm really ugly.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you don't have to believe everything you hear. It doesn't have to be true because it might not be true. You said that in the book, right? It was something along those lines.
Well, if you're hanging around with certain people that are insecure in themselves and they don't want you to evolve, they might be saying things to you that are absolutely not true because they don't actually want to see you rise. So
They
now,
want to keep you with
yeah,
them.
they want to keep you there. And so this could be for anything. It's like, well, I don't think you should do that. Or, I don't know if you're there yet. Again, they're just trying to hold you back. And so this is where I talk about 7-level players bringing 5-level players, 9-level players bringing 10s. 7s are insecure. So they want to have people be less than them or not as good as them because then they always look like the star. But the greats want people better than them around them because they know if they bring someone better, they rise up, they get better, and the team
Yes.
wins and they win.
Yes.
That's secure mentality. When you want to be better, you bring better players around you. But insecurity, it just breeds more insecurity and no one grows. So watch the people that are around you because they could be holding you in a cage rather than letting you fly.
You're so good because we're gonna get on that next. You're like, I'm telling you, we're here. Well, it's your book. You know the steps.
Yeah, but I actually don't know where you're going, so this is good.
This is amazing. So good. I literally just have bullet points of the steps, guys. That's all I have. You guys know I don't script any questions. It's just a conversation.
We're in the living room, hanging out.
That's it. And you guys are just a fly on the wall. So freaking good. So good. So quick story. I used to be really good at basketball, like really, really, really good.
Nice.
But I realized at one point, I'm 5'6". To your point earlier, I'm probably not making it to the NBA. Very slim chance. There's like that have ever made it. I think it's like a few hundred,
That's right.
right? Ever.
Yes.
Out of millions and millions of people, billions of people.
And it's getting harder.
Yeah. So me being 5'6", the only players that have ever done it at 5'6" or shorter, Muggsy Bogues
Yes.
and Spud Webb and Earl Boykins.
Yes.
3 people ever. I'm probably not going to the NBA, even though I was really good, right? I used to play pickup basketball with ex-pros, Reggie Miller, Byron Russell, Mark Jackson, Katino Mobley, a lot of just ex-players. They were not playing anymore. They were older, slower. They were still so much better than me. But because I was playing with them, my level of play
Yes.
rose. I was so much better, but still, I was not the best player there.
Yes.
So
That's so good.
I have to understand, like, okay, in most situations, I was the best player. I'd have the ball most of the time. I'm not the best point guard when Mark Jackson is on my team. He's like the 3rd leading assists person in the
Right.
entire history.
Right.
So just wanted to make that point that, like, who you associate with, it matters.
Okay, let's lean into that for 1 minute because it's statistically proven if you go around, again, these C-level players that are not good, you'll lower by 18%. But if you go around people that you come in and you're working hard and you're doing well and they come in and they're even better, you're going to rise up to that. So this is what I call the raise the bar effect. I'm always saying raise the bar, raise the bar. And people say, Dar, I don't want to raise the bar. Like, I'm exhausted. I said, I'm not asking you to do more. I'm asking you to do what you do really well. And I want you to be the person when you walk in the room, they know just your presence that they're going to win because you're going to hold the standard up, the level of excellence. You're not going to take a shortcut. You're going to be all in. I know darn well when we sat down, like, we're going to raise the bar because you're in the room. It's going to raise the bar because I'm not going to lower the standard either. So we're going to level each other up and how we think, what we're saying, what we want to share to anyone listening because we care about this. You want to be that person when you walk in, people are like, we're going to win. We're just going to win because you're around. We're going to win in our friendship because you care. You're going to be there. You're going to win in your marriage because you love your wife so much, your children. That is such a measure for excellence when you walk in that your presence elevates people because they know you're going to hold that standard. You raise the bar when you walk in. So I want everyone listening to really do inventory and say, when I walk in the room, do people feel like I'm winning? We're going to win or lose with me around?
Wow.
Real talk.
Wow. Guys. Wow. Rewind that, share that. The share button has to be going crazy right now because that was good. That was so good because it is so, you're 1,000,000% true or 1,000,000% on point because I have this thing. I call it a trigger. It's I'll show everyone here. 'Tis a chapstick in my pocket.
Okay.
Okay. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Chapstick, most people think of it as, oh, lips are chapped, makes them all buttery soft, right? So yes, it has that purpose. But how often do I put my hands in my pockets? Right? If my hands are in my pockets and I feel this chapstick, it's a trigger. What's my state? What's my energy? Where am I at? If someone's looking at me, what are they perceiving? Right? It's a trigger for me to be on point. I got that from my mentor, Templeton Walker. Shout out, Temp. Love you, dog. He uses doorways. He walks through a door. This is trigger. I'm on point. I'm in my flow state.
Yes.
That is his trigger. And that's what you're saying.
That's
when you
perfect.
walk into a room,
Yes.
let that be your trigger.
Yes.
Like, be your best self. Be on point. Be someone that, like, people want to run into battle with because you are so freaking on point that just being around you brings them up.
That is your cueing.
And this is it.
That cues you to be like, turn on.
At all times.
Yes.
So I have it in my pocket. I always have a chapstick in my pocket because I hate having lips that are chapped, for one.
I would take that on deserted island.
Yes.
Till it ran out, I guess, though.
Yeah. And then I just Amazon for it. A little drone just pops one up to me. But
So, I love that so much because it's called,
make
there
sure
it
I'm
is.
all nice and buttery soft and be on my game. All right.
This is called the power of the pause. So that cue is a cue. It's a tactile and visual cue and kinesthetic. The doorway is a visual cue. So you could literally have cues in your life and use the power of the pause. So the power of the pause is the same thing. You get off a call and you're about to go into a meeting. If you sit down in the chair and you haven't cued yourself, you're going to take that last call into the current meeting. Your energy is going to come in and people are going to feel you in that other call. Or you get in the meeting and you're thinking about the next thing because you're not here. So the cue could be where your feet are. Be where your feet are. You get out of you get done with work, the doorway, you're about to walk into your house. That doorway is your cue. As soon as you step in, work's out there. Your wife's standing in front of you, your daughter's standing in front of you. That cue of that doorway is what you're saying is pause for a second and say before you enter, how do I want to show up? So not only see the cue, but use the power of the pause, which is stop, take a deep breath and say, how do I want to show up right when I enter this door? How do I want to show up when I answer this call that I'm going to be on? How do I want to show up right now in this room? It's the power of the pause to just set the intention, take a deep breath, look at the cue and say, how do I want to be here? And that's intention. Your trigger, your cue it's literally you setting the intention. And that is mental conditioning.
I got that from, I can't remember what book it was. I became a reader in 2016. I'd never read a book, really never read one book until then. I was 31 years old. And my life was in shambles.
Yeah.
I was bankrupt. I was $300 to my name. I couldn't afford the apartment my daughter and I lived in. I was single father, had her full time. 1-bedroom apartment, couldn't afford that. Moved in with a friend, rented a little room from him. To be able to afford it, I had to sell my bed. I had to sell most of my belongings. Like, I was rock bottom, I thought.
Yep.
And then I get my heart ripped out of my chest by this woman I thought was the one.
Mm-hmm.
She breaks it into a million pieces. I don't blame her at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just we weren't
Yep.
meant for each other. But I had thoughts of suicide. I thought like my life was over. But I started really self-reflecting. Like, why is this happening to me? I never worked on me. Never.
Yep.
Didn't read, didn't listen to motivational stuff, didn't get around people that were successful. I looked at all my friendships. It was like, they're all not successful. Like,
Right.
of course I'm not winning in life.
Right.
So I started reading books, right? I read a book that talked about having I think they call it a gratitude rock.
Yes.
I forget what book. Do you know which book this is?
No, but I know about the gratitude rock.
Right?
So it probably is from this book.
Which book are you thinking?
No, I just know from the story that was told.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know it went to a book.
Got it. So
But they make these gratitude rocks now.
yes, it's
Yeah.
like a business.
Yes.
And it's just a rock. So like I used to carry a rock around for that, but like then I'd forget to put the rock in my pocket. I'm always gonna have a chapstick, so
That's right.
the chapstick is the rock.
Perfect.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I
So-
love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love this conversation. This is so good. You're awesome.
Thank you.
You are awesome. Guys, we're not going to get to all of them. You got to get this book. There's so much in here. I want to get to just a couple more things real quick because we don't have all the time in the world. Discover your why power. What
I love
is
all
this?
of them, though.
What is this and how do you do it?
Okay. This when you hear this, I do not want you to hear this and let it fall on deaf ears like, oh, I've heard about why. Simon Sinek talks about why I love him and you have to have your why. Here's where I shift this. You're going through your hard time. You're starting to pull yourself up. You're kind of in this journey of this book. Like you had to embrace the suck. You literally had to start to go forward. You had to start working on yourself. You have to sit there at one point when you're doing this introspective work and you have to say, I could only will myself at some point to just keep getting up. I have to have a reason why. I have got to lean into a reason why I'm going to make a drastic change, go for a better way, have a better life. Why am I going to do this? Here's the thing about why power. It's not tied to a role or an identity. So people say, I want to do this because I want to be a better father. Now that's good, but when she grows up and goes away, your why has gone away for that season. I want this why to stick with you, to be your 30 for 30 anthem. It's when we look back at your life story, this was Devin's story. This is what he stood for. This is who he is, right? So my why comes down to a core value word that I want to be known for and I could stand on and build off of, which is greatness. And then I added verbs to it. So it's my mission statement becomes to motivate, inspire, and awaken greatness in myself and others globally. So
You know I read it.
yeah, that's so good.
Globally.
Okay, you know it's someone's read it and they understand it when they could repeat it back. That's very few people.
I'm telling you, I was hooked to the book.
This is so good.
I was hooked.
But here's the thing. So I'm going through my strokes. I'm going even through my journey. I mean, here I was traveling with the Phoenix Suns. I'm on all cylinders, top of my game, and I have this third stroke, and it sets me way back. And I'm going, you've got to be kidding me. And then that's when I sat there and I said, Dar, why are you going to get back up? Why are you going to get back up and even go back down this road again? Because this is what I understood. Number one, none of us are here because of ourselves. We didn't show up into this world, so it was for us. For
Right.
us to have this life and anything we wanted. Absolutely not. As the blessings come and you get what you get, great. But if you literally got a gift that you needed to get back up from, because we need you. We literally need you. Like, we wouldn't be here today if you gave up and you gave into those thoughts that you had that day.
Right.
Or many days or months.
Right.
We wouldn't have you. You wouldn't be able to give the life to your daughter, right? And now your wife and everything that's ahead. So you have to understand that you have been called on a mission, and your mission is not over until it is called out for you, not you calling yourself out. So when I'm sitting there that day, I'm going, okay, Dar, this isn't about you. So get out of the pity party. It's not about you. You can't play it small because God did not call you. Sometimes I wish I was called to play it small because it'd be easier, but it wasn't. And it's in me always. That's why I put global. So I got back up. I started working. I said, because if I'm called to this, then God, you better give me the strength to do this. And every day I got a little bit stronger and a little bit stronger and a little bit stronger. And then business went double, triple, quadrupled, came back, helping more people. I was speaking this past year on this book tour to 54 different countries around the world.
Wow.
And also someone said to me, you don't have to do all the work. You have to get up and show up and do the work on you, but then you got to leave God some room to do it too. And that's set to the mission. So when I did that, it's been like game changer. He put a motor in my boat that is way better than mine. And we've been going and cruising, but I leaned into my why. And every day I say, so can I awaken greatness in this conversation? Will someone hear this and lean into to feel like they could have a greater purpose now, that they'll show up a little better? Again, the Kobe Bryant statement of greatness is not in what you accomplish, but in how you live and inspire others. And also the other greatness quote is, greatness is open to all but earned by few. Just those two alone is hopefully awakening to someone today. So I did my work. I shared. I planted the seeds. A CEO I worked with, he said, when we did this exercise together, which the exercise is in the book so you could take it and do it, he said, I want my core value, I want my 30 for 30 to be known as value. Did I add value in the people's lives that I touched? Now, he runs a $10 billion company. It has nothing to do with his role. It has nothing to do with him being a husband or a parent in a singular act. As a whole in his life, his 30 for 30 for story would be, this gentleman's name added value. That's his 30 for 30. And you're going to see the story of how he added value. So he says now with this intention, when I walk into the office, I say, am I adding value today to this person's life? Did my conversation with my wife, did I add value to her life? When I see my sons, did I add value to their life? A stranger, do you see how he lives with the intention? Just like your chapstick was a cue, your why power is an intentional cue to be focused on every day to show up better. And when you do, you have power now versus trying to will it up the hill. Your why power is going to give you wings. It's like Red Bull gives you wings.
It'll pull you instead of you have to always push.
Yes,
right?
yes. It elevates you.
Right.
Anytime when I work with people, it's been so many people around the world. As soon as they write their why statement, all of a sudden they like sit up better. They're smiling. They're like, this is great. Now I know what I'm doing.
You just said something that reminded me of Mr. Schmooze. Elevate.
Elevate, exactly.
Elevate everything, right?
Yes.
So am I bringing value to someone? It could be as little as smiling at somebody.
Oh, gosh,
like,
yes.
What I'd really try to do is at grocery stores, they've got a name tag, right? How often does someone call them by their first name? They're just going through the line, doing their thing, buying their groceries.
So good.
I try to actually
Say their name.
Darleen, how are you today? And sometimes they're like, how'd you know my name? I'm like, it's on your, you've got a name tag.
Yeah.
But they light up. They're
I
like,
know.
oh, this person sees me.
Yes.
Like just something that simple can
Yes.
bring value to people's lives, right?
So big. They feel seen, heard, and they actually feel like they matter because you called them by their name.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Just something that simple. So guys, it's not groundbreaking stuff. Like the most successful people, the most successful in anything, it's little things done consistently.
Yes.
That is it. It's just little
Recipe.
things done consistently.
Game plan right there. Just follow that game plan.
You know?
Isn't it fascinating that we have all the answers and the tools, but yet people don't use them?
Yep.
That's because they need to find, honestly, they need to find their why. You really need to find your why. Like, why do you want to get healthier? It's not so you could be a certain weight. It's because you want to have that energy and the longevity to be there for your family, to be able to live out your calling and your mission. It has to be bigger than you.
You know, I think this, at least me, is I kind of started figuring out my why when I was fed up with how life was.
Yes.
I was fed up with it. Like, and I get to this point, like usually every 6 months or so, I've built a pretty freaking awesome life. I'll travel, like me and wifey, we'll go around the world. We take trips. We haven't done it because she's pregnant right now, but we were taking trips like crazy. And I'll go on these trips and I'll get there and I'm like 3 or 4 days, but I want to get back to my life.
Yes.
I've built this life I really enjoy, right?
I love that you're sharing this.
Here's the thing though. I get to this point, I've built this life I enjoy, but then I get stagnant. And I'm like, I'm not satisfied with this anymore. I'm fed up with this version of my life. So how do I make it better? I've got to learn some new talents. I've got to learn some new skills. I've got to do some different things to become a better version of me. To get there, you have to get fed up with where you're at.
Yes.
That's when you start really figuring out what your why is. At least for me, again, back when I was rock bottom, my why was my daughter. Just me and my daughter sitting there. I'm bawling my eyes out to her, broke down and cried. Had never really cried in front of her because I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be her strong dad, right? Even though I was struggling like crazy, I didn't want her to see that and feel it. I wanted to protect her from it. I lost it when I got my heart broken. I just started bawling in front of her. And she starts crying because I'm crying. So now I'm crying harder because she's crying. It's my little girl. I'm like, you know when you cry and you like can't get your breath? You're like,
Yes.
like that kind of cry.
Yeah.
And she's like, Daddy, what's wrong? She's 9 at the time. And finally, I bring myself together and I'm like, am I a good dad? Because I literally thought everything else I failed at. Like, am I a good dad? She lifts my chin up with her little hand, and she's, Daddy, you are the best daddy. So, like, that was my why. Like,
absolutely.
I was like, she thinks I'm this superhero, but really, if she really knew, if she was older, like 16-year-old her would know, Daddy's struggling. He doesn't have his thing together.
Yeah.
Back then, I was a superhero, but I wasn't. I knew I wasn't.
Right.
So my why was like, be the man this little girl thinks you are.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then my life started turning around like crazy. I remember dates really well for some reason. October 22nd, 2016. That's when I broke down and cried to her. I went on my first date with my now wife, November 26th. A month later.
Oh my gosh, that started to turn things for you.
Everything.
Yes.
Met my wife, like scared to death that she was going to break my heart. So I like broke up with her like 2 months in.
Yeah.
And then like a weekend goes by and I'm like, I really miss her. So like we got back together and then we've been together since.
Yeah.
We've got a baby on the way. Like a month of just literally having a why and working my ass off to get better, to deserve to be better, right?
This is so good. And for people listening to that story, which if you don't have a heart, don't feel that, I don't know who you are, but I want people to hear that because you could have given up, but look, from that moment, less than 30 days, your life started to turn around. So in our toughest times when we think it's over and could call ourselves out of the game, 30 days later, the literally gift from God is, hey, I have a partner in life I want you to share life with. And it starts to change your life. What? Like 30 days. That's why they say sometimes wait a week and see how things change. 24 hours, things could change. 1 year, things could change. So this is such a great example of things get better also by staying in the fight. You stayed in it. You didn't give up. And literally your life got better. One more thing on this is everyone has 100% bounce back rate. Because if you're listening, you've bounced back from something so bad in your life. You have 100%. There's nothing in our life that we have 100% for, but we have 100% bounce back rate. That's a stat on a card that I would count on anyone with. And you getting through that, I'd have you on my team every day and all day.
Unless you passed away, then you're...
Well, when you're gone,
right?
yeah.
You're
while
gone.
you're still listening,
But
if
while
you
you're
hear my
alive-
voice,
Yep.
anything that you've gone through, you've gotten to the other side. So what you thought you couldn't overcome, you did. So let that be a reminder for anything ahead of you that gets hard, you will overcome that too. As long as you get back up. You've got to show up in order to get ahead and keep moving forward. Otherwise, the quicksand takes you down. So you have to get up and start walking every day. Just one step, next step. What's the next best thing you have to do? By taking those steps, you finally make it to the other side. Yeah, and you did it.
I love it. Looking at your steps. So again, guys, I'm reading these steps off. These are in the book. There's 9 of them, but we've gone over 4. Embrace the suck. That's when I was rock bottom and like heart was broken. It sucked. I was bawling my eyes out. I was in that suck.
Yeah.
I realized this is not good. My life is not good right now. I'm asking my 9-year-old daughter if I'm a good dad while I'm bawling to her. I was embracing the suck. Understanding who you are. I really started to like figure like I need to be better. The things are happening to me because I don't deserve better.
Yeah.
So I started to understand who I am, right? Seeking and applying feedback. I literally started watching different YouTube videos, getting this different knowledge,
Right.
and then asking people at work. I remember asking people at work, like, hey, how could I actually get more sales? I was doing mortgages at the time.
Yep.
Can I shadow you? Can I do this? Can I do that? Like, can you do a call review? I was seeking and applying feedback.
Yes.
Discover your why power. I literally was taking your steps, and your book wasn't written for like 7 years.
That is exact. Like, this is so you could understand. These are real life examples of how you endure adversity and then use it to advance you.
Yes.
It's awesome.
And guys, understand this. You kind of said this. Take a step, take a step, take a step. Everything unfolds. If you are driving at night, it's pitch black, right? There's no street lights. You're just on a pitch black road in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
You've got headlights. They see maybe a couple 100 feet in front of you. You can make it from LA to New York just seeing a couple 100 feet in front of you.
Yes.
Because as you go, the headlights are going to illuminate a couple 100 feet in front of you.
So good.
All you need to
Yes.
be able to see is a few steps ahead of you. People think, I need to know exactly what the next 5 years are going to look like. I know exactly what the next 10 years are going to look like. I know exactly what I'm going to do. No. Know exactly what you have to do today.
Yes.
Little things.
Yes.
Done consistently. Master today.
Yes. Master today.
Tomorrow comes.
Yes.
Master today. Next day comes. Master today. Eventually, you've mastered a week.
So good.
And then eventually, you've mastered a month. You've mastered a year. You look back, you've mastered a decade.
You're winning.
Oh, I love this conversation.
You're winning.
I love this conversation.
Master the day.
Oh, we should write a book together.
Let's do it. It's not going to be this because when I was writing this, I kept getting tested the whole time. Like, have you learned these principles? I said, my next book is going to be abundance. But no. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It's good.
This has been such an amazing conversation. I hope everyone listening and watching has you've laughed, maybe you've cried a little bit, maybe you've learned some things, hopefully. And you can apply things into your life to get over struggles. Everyone's going through them. I go through them daily, little micro struggles. I'm sure you do as well.
Definitely.
There's big struggles. There's big setbacks. There's small ones. Hopefully you got a nugget somewhere in here. And if you did, please share this with people that you love, because at the end of the day, if we can all bounce back from setbacks quicker, we can stay in our genius, we can stay in our flow state, which I know you talk a lot about in the book, and we can just win, and we can bring everyone up around us, because as we win, like, we are energy. I am a ball of energy. At a molecular level, I am energy. You are energy. This is energy. The water is energy. Everything is energy.
That's right.
If I am winning, I'm giving off a winning energy.
Yes.
Everyone around me is going to get that energy.
Yeah.
So guys, please share this with everyone you know. I love you guys so much. Until next time, peace.